Do you feel lost or unsure in your spiritual journey? How to find the spiritual practice that suits you. How to discover your own path to spiritual awakening. 8 key breakthroughs on the path to enlightenment. At this moment, many seekers feel confused and troubled, unsure of which spiritual path to take. This video dives deep into the concept of finding the right spiritual path and is aimed at seekers who feel lost or unsure of how to begin their practice. Nowadays, there are countless teachers offering guidance on spiritual practice and enlightenment. The sheer number of methods can feel overwhelming. Buddhism alone has 84,000 paths. This number itself suggests that it's nearly impossible to prescribe one single method for each individual. Each person has a unique path that best suits them. However, from my perspective, regardless of the path you choose, there are key areas in which everyone must break through to experience a profound, lasting shift in their practice. Without breakthroughs in these core aspects, true progress toward enlightenment is unlikely. In this video, I outline 8 essential breakthroughs, fundamental areas of focus that, when deeply understood and practiced, sketch out a roadmap to guide you toward an authentic, selfless path. These points are not a step-by-step method but a series of insights that will help you transcend attachments, self-centered thinking, and traditional ways of seeking. Together, they lead to a more natural, compassionate, and liberated way of approaching spiritual growth. For seasoned practitioners, it's clear. No matter which method you choose, you must experience breakthroughs in at least one of these 8 areas to genuinely awaken. If you're truly ready, these messages might resonate with a deep truth within you. But if not, know that it's alright to continue your search a bit longer. Anyhow, seeds of insight are already sown, and in their own time they'll take root and flourish. If this resonates with you, please subscribe and click the bell icon for more inspiring content. Let's delve into these 8 core aspects. 1. The trap of language and dualistic thinking. As we begin, it's crucial to recognize that language itself can be a significant obstacle on the journey to enlightenment. Words, by their very nature, impose limits on boundless truth, confining it to definitions and dualities. If we cling to dualistic thinking, preoccupied with judgments of right and wrong, success and failure, gain and loss, each step may actually lead us further from genuine understanding. True clarity cannot arise from a mind that divides reality into opposites. Rather, it emerges when we transcend this binary thinking. To move forward, we must see beyond the confines of language and the mind's habitual splitting of the world. Only then can we approach a clearer, more direct perception of truth, untethered by labels and categories. 2. The core of spiritual practice, letting go of the self. At the heart of any true spiritual path lies one essential aim, the progressive letting go of all self-centered thoughts. Without this fundamental intention, even the most dedicated spiritual practice remains tied to worldly desires, limiting its potential for real transformation. But what exactly are self-centered thoughts? In essence, these are any desires or intentions driven by a need for personal gain or change, the pursuit of wealth, health, happiness, wisdom, or knowledge, the defense of beliefs, or even the quest for inner peace or enlightenment. Often, we think that spiritual goals like peace or enlightenment are somehow exempt from the ego. Yet even these aspirations are rooted in the same desire to improve, secure, or fulfill the self. This is the paradox of the spiritual journey, recognizing that, ultimately, the deepest peace comes not from achieving any goal but from releasing the very desire to attain. 3. Beyond the dualities of worldly and spiritual desires. The Diamond Sutra offers a profound insight. True liberation comes only when we release our attachments to all forms, often called perceptions. A person deeply immersed in worldly life may seek wealth, security, or recognition, while a spiritual seeker may yearn for peace, wisdom, or enlightenment. Yet, both these desires, though seemingly opposite, are projections rooted in self-centered thought, making them essentially indistinguishable in nature. Buddha taught that if one claims the Tathagata Buddha has doctrines, they miss the essence of his teaching. True wisdom transcends any doctrine or concept, moving beyond every form of self-referential thought. In this way, freedom isn't found in accumulating insights or beliefs but in letting go of all concepts that create a duality between worldly and spiritual. 4. dissolving the I and transcending self-centered thought. To truly release the hold of the I, we must dismantle the habit of self-referential thought. Ironically, even the desire to rid ourselves of these thoughts is just another thought, a subtler form of attachment. It's like trying to clean water with mud. The effort to eliminate thought is itself a kind of entanglement. This is where a deep insight arises. Thought and non-thought, striving and surrender, both stem from the same source, often called true nature or self-nature. Think of this true nature as pure gold. Whether it's shaped into a weapon or a sacred statue, the gold remains the same in essence. Likewise, our awareness, whether it's filled with calm or turmoil, arises from the same core nature. Recognizing this requires emptying the mind of all attachments, surrendering self-centered desires, and simply seeing things as they are. Only then does that I dissolve, revealing an unobstructed view of this timeless, unchanging nature. 5. The nature of true compassion and the end of transactional thinking. Only by dissolving self-centered thoughts can we engage in true compassion. This authentic compassion transcends the expectation of reward or good karma. It emerges from the profound realization that liberation from suffering is interconnected. When we perceive others' struggles as reflections of our own experiences, genuine compassion arises spontaneously and naturally. Buddhist teachings emphasize that self-liberation is essential before we can effectively assist others. This process is not an act of selfishness. Rather, it involves extinguishing the illusions and attachments that cloud our understanding. By first cultivating our own inner freedom, we become more attuned to the nuances of others' pain, enabling us to extend sincere compassion that flows organically from our own liberation. True compassion is devoid of transactional thinking. It's not about giving to receive or helping with an agenda. Instead, it becomes an instinctive response to the shared human experience of suffering, uniting us in our quest for understanding and relief. When we recognize that our pain and the pain of others are intricately linked, we step into a space of empathy that transcends boundaries, enriching our spiritual journey and deepening our connection to the world around us. 6. The illusory nature of self and the impermanence of desire. From a deeper perspective, both the concept of self and our experiences of suffering are mere illusions, ephemeral constructs created by transient thoughts that arise and fade away in an instant. Each thought is like a fleeting cloud passing across a vast sky, momentarily taking shape before dissipating into nothingness. Even as one thought disappears and another emerges, both are equally insubstantial, devoid of any lasting essence. The belief that any desire, joy, or pain possesses inherent reality is a mirage, leading us to chase after shadows that never truly exist. This understanding of illusion is intricately tied to the principles of cause and effect. From the perspective of effect, we don't need to resist our thoughts or deny their existence. Rather, we must recognize them for what they are, temporary phenomena that come and go. As the wisdom suggests, don't fear thoughts arising, only fear being unaware of them. By cultivating a state of mindful observation, we can witness our thoughts without becoming entangled in their narratives, thus diminishing their power to bind us. Yet, from the perspective of cause, a deeper practice emerges, the need to sever attachments to thoughts entirely. This entails embracing a profound stillness, allowing us to experience the world beyond the incessant chatter of the mind. In this stillness, we discover the essence of our true nature, which exists beyond the fleeting illusions of self and desire. It is in this space of quiet awareness that we can truly begin to perceive the impermanence of our thoughts, leading us toward liberation from the constraints of a self-centered existence. 7. The path to wisdom beyond conventional seeking. The Buddhist path to enlightenment began not with the formulation of doctrines or teachings, but with a profound silence of the mind. It was only after years of deep meditation and introspection that he awakened to enlightenment and felt compelled to share his insights. This critical distinction highlights that the purpose of the Buddha's teachings was not to establish new ideals or rigid doctrines, but rather to dismantle the illusions that bind us, paving the way to freedom from all conceptual thinking. A true teacher embodies this essence. They are recognized not by their eloquence or rhetorical skill, but by their calm and centered presence. Their ability to remain undisturbed, even in solitude, reflects a depth of understanding that transcends words. As an ancient verse beautifully articulates, all dharmas, phenomena, arise from the mind, and the mind itself has no nature. When we perceive the mind as fundamentally empty, we come to realize that even our most profound desires and attachments are ultimately weightless illusions, as insubstantial as clouds drifting across the sky. This insight encourages us to step away from conventional seeking, which often leads to the endless pursuit of external validations and achievements. Instead, we are invited to turn inward, exploring the vast landscape of our own consciousness. In this exploration, we discover that true wisdom arises from recognizing the emptiness of the mind and understanding that our experiences, desires, and attachments do not possess inherent value. It is through this lens of wisdom that we can navigate the complexities of life with clarity, compassion, and a sense of liberation from the constraints of our conditioned thinking. 8. The paradox of emptiness and non-attachment. The quest for emptiness, or the desire to free oneself from attachment, can ironically become yet another form of attachment. In our pursuit of a perfect spiritual state or the ideal of enlightenment, we often find ourselves ensnared in desire, inadvertently perpetuating the very cycle we seek to escape. It is only when we acknowledge this paradox, when we release even the yearning for enlightenment, that we can truly experience authentic liberation. This state of liberation transcends dualities. It exists beyond the confines of joy and suffering, right and wrong. It is a profound peace that emerges from the understanding that nothing has ever genuinely disturbed our essential nature. We come to realize that our true self is untouched by the fluctuations of life. It remains a constant, untainted by external circumstances. In this moment of realization, compassion begins to flow effortlessly and spontaneously. Our actions are motivated by genuine kindness rather than obligation or the expectation of reward. This selfless compassion arises naturally from a deep understanding of our interconnectedness with all beings. It is a response that reflects our boundless and complete nature, rather than a transactional exchange. This is the essence of the ultimate teaching, that true compassion is not a duty we perform but a natural expression of our understanding of life's interconnected web. When we let go of our attachments, including the attachment to our spiritual goals, we open ourselves to a profound and unshakable peace that radiates outward, inviting us to engage with the world and others from a place of true freedom and authenticity. Conclusion: the journey toward authentic liberation. As we navigate the myriad spiritual paths available to us, it becomes clear that true growth and understanding lie not in rigid doctrines or the endless pursuit of goals, but in the profound shifts within our own awareness. The journey is less about seeking and more about letting go, shedding the layers of self-centered thinking that bind us. By recognizing the trap of language and dualistic thinking, we learn to see beyond the oppositions that cloud our perception, embracing a more expansive understanding of existence. The core of spiritual practice centers on the release of the self, where we unravel the illusions of desire and identity, opening ourselves to a deeper connection with the world around us. In transcending the boundaries between worldly and spiritual desires, we discover that all attachments stem from the same source, our craving for validation and fulfillment. This realization invites us to dissolve the mind that separates us from others, recognizing that our thoughts, while powerful, are fleeting and insubstantial. The true essence of compassion emerges only when we liberate ourselves from the cycle of transactional thinking, allowing us to connect with others' suffering as intimately as we understand our own. We come to understand the illusory nature of the self and the impermanence of desire, which encourages us to observe our thoughts without attachment, revealing their transient nature. This perspective opens the door to wisdom that lies beyond conventional seeking, a wisdom that the Buddha embodied, demonstrating that silence and presence often speak louder than any doctrine. Finally, we confront the paradox of emptiness and non-attachment. It is only when we relinquish the desire for liberation itself that we uncover the peace that has always been within us, a peace that flows naturally into acts of genuine compassion. As you stand at the threshold of your spiritual journey, remember that while the paths may be numerous, The insights gained from these 8 aspects will guide you toward an authentic, selfless approach to life. Embrace this journey of discovery and liberation, for it is in the release of self that we find the greatest truth. We are all interconnected, and in our shared experience, we can cultivate a compassion that transforms not only ourselves but the world around us. The seeds of wisdom have already been sown. It is time to nurture them into the full bloom of your unique spiritual awakening. Thank you for watching. If you find resonance in these words, kindly subscribe, click the bell icon, and share it with your friends. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave your message below. May it bring light to those still wandering in the dark.